the Baltimore Ravens delivered a commanding 31-2 victory over the Houston Texans in the second game of Netflix's Christmas Day NFL doubleheader, showcasing dominance on both sides. Lamar Jackson headlined the action with a historic performance, breaking the all-time quarterback rushing record previously held by Michael Vick. The Ravens win elevated them to 11-5, taking sole possession of first place in the AFC North, while the Texans struggled to keep up, solidifying their likely number 4 seed in the playoffs. Ravens take control early. The Ravens wasted no time setting the tone. On their opening drive, Derrick Henry capped a quick, efficient series with a 2-yard touchdown run following a 27-yard reception by Zay Flowers. Baltimore's defense immediately stifled Houston's response, forcing a punt and putting Lamar Jackson and company back in scoring position. Justin Tucker added a field goal, giving the Ravens an early 10-0 lead. Houston's struggles were evident from the start. Despite a brief spark when rookie cornerback Kamari Lassiter recorded a safety by tackling Derrick Henry in the end zone, the Texans' offense was disorganized, failing to capitalize on any opportunities. C.J. Stroud's throws were off target, and the Texans punted on 3 consecutive drives. First half dominance. Baltimore continued to widen the gap with a 67-yard catch-and-run by tight end Mark Andrews, who had a standout day. Andrews' reception set up a touchdown by Isaiah Likely, extending the Ravens' lead to 17-2 before halftime. Adding to Houston's misery, C.J. Stroud briefly exited the game with an apparent injury late in the second quarter. Backup Davis Mills stepped in, but couldn't produce any meaningful offense. Although Stroud returned, the damage had already been done. The Ravens carried a comfortable 17-2 lead into the locker room. Lamar Jackson breaks records. The second half opened with a turnover that encapsulated Houston's woes. Stroud threw an interception to Ravens safety Kyle Hamilton, setting up Baltimore at their 39-yard line. Shortly afterward, Lamar Jackson electrified the crowd with a 48-yard touchdown run, a play that also cemented his place in NFL history as the all-time rushing leader among quarterbacks. Jackson needed just 87 yards to surpass Michael Vick's record and achieved it in the third quarter on only his 4th carry. The record-breaking moment was marked with a game ball, and Jackson's performance left little doubt about his impact on the league. Texans' offensive struggles continue. Houston's offense never found its rhythm. A promising drive early in the third quarter ended with a failed 4th down conversion at Baltimore's 1-yard line. The decision to go for it instead of settling for a field goal symbolized the Texans' desperation and futility. Houston made numerous mistakes, including penalties and another interception. By the time Lamar Jackson connected with Mark Andrews for a 1-yard touchdown, extending the lead to 31-2, the game was effectively over. Jackson was pulled shortly after, and backup Josh Johnson took over to manage the clock. Ravens' defense dominates. Baltimore's defense was relentless throughout the game. The unit played a critical role in the Ravens' success, shutting down Houston's rushing attack and forcing turnovers. Linebackers Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen led the charge, while Hamilton's interception decisively shifted momentum in Baltimore's favor. Despite having already secured the AFC South title, the Texans showed vulnerabilities that could hinder their playoff chances. Stroud's inability to connect with receivers like Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz, combined with a struggling offensive line, highlighted areas of concern as they prepare for their final regular season game against the Tennessee Titans. Beyoncé's halftime show. The halftime show provided a brief respite from the Texans' woes. Beyoncé delivered a spectacular Texas-themed performance featuring songs from her latest album, Cowboy Carter. Joined by artists like Post Malone, Shabuzi, and her 12-year-old daughter Blue Ivy, Beyoncé captivated the crowd with hits like My House and Texas Hold'em. The performance ended with a dramatic finale as Beyoncé ascended, leaving the audience in awe. Second half wrap-up. Houston's best chance to close the gap came early in the third quarter, but Stroud's interception dashed hopes of a comeback. Baltimore, in contrast, continued to execute offense and defense efficiently. Even with backups in the game, the Ravens managed the clock and preserved their dominant lead. Jackson's contributions were complemented by strong performances by Derrick Henry and Mark Andrews, while Justin Tucker added points when necessary. By the fourth quarter, the Ravens were firmly in control, sending a clear message to the rest of the AFC. Playoff implications. The win puts Baltimore in the driver's seat for the AFC North title, but they still need a victory in Week 18 against the Cleveland Browns to secure the division. Despite their loss earlier in the day, the Pittsburgh Steelers remain a threat due to their tiebreaker advantage. Baltimore will focus on maintaining momentum and avoiding injuries as they prepare for the postseason. Houston's loss raises concerns about its playoff readiness. While it has clinched its division, its performance against a playoff-caliber team like Baltimore suggests significant areas for improvement. The Texans will look to regroup in their final regular season game against Tennessee. Final thoughts. The Ravens' 31-2 victory over the Texans was a statement win that showcased their dominance in all phases of the game. Lamar Jackson's record-breaking performance solidified his legacy, while the Ravens' defense proved why they're one of the most feared units in the league. As Baltimore eyes a deep playoff run, Houston faces questions about their ability to compete at the next level. With 1 week left in the regular season, both teams have higher stakes than ever.